Good.
Perfect. Perfect. So there we go. This is, I don't even know what episode it is. I think it's episode 4 of the Bandits Everywhere podcast. Welcome, everybody. My name is Matt. I am the host, I guess, if there is a host. The Bandits Everywhere podcast is a podcast for dads, made by dads, sorry, that are fans of the show Bluey. That's a kids show from Australia. I mean, you gotta know the show if you're watching the podcast, so welcome. Today's episode, we have our friend Jeff here. Um, I'm gonna leave him. I'm gonna let him introduce himself and tell us a little about himself. We already have a conversation the other day. It went pretty good. I think there are going to be some great points to talk about here today. I'm really excited to get this episode started. So yeah, Jeff, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself so we can start our conversation?
Okay. I'm Jeff. My wife and I are actors, but we also own a production company. We have two kids. We have a 3-year-old, my daughter, and we have a son who's 4 months old.
Cool. That was
Yeah,
quick.
there's not. I can elaborate a little bit more, but I'm sure we'll get into the
Yeah.
conversation.
Yeah, we're gonna get into a lot of stuff. Like I said, I'm very happy for this episode. It so happens that Jeff and I have very similar similarities on our jobs. So I think the some of the podcast will roll towards our video editing or video production line of work. But yeah, of course, we're gonna talk about Bluey. We're gonna talk about some dad stories. Um, and First off, Jeff, why don't you tell us what's your favorite Bluey episode? I mean, this is a Bluey podcast, so
Yeah, maybe. I think the one that resonates most with us is it's either the tickle crab or my daughter loves that, but she also loves the baby episode where Bandit, they're reenacting how Chili and Bandit met, and then they had Bluey, who was a baby. That resonates with us.
makes
Those two
sense.
episodes are actually a big family favorite here.
Makes sense. Makes sense. And that episode has an interesting theory, right? Have you heard about the Chile's supposedly
Yeah.
miscarriage? I recently saw that episode, and I think it's quite obvious that the writers went that way. I mean,
Mm,
you and I that know some. I mean, I'm sure you know more about it, but we do know some things about cinematography and all that. So
mm,
if they gave enough screen time to that particular detail, that Bandit holds hands with Chili on that particular part,
mm,
I think it's not a theory. I think it's pretty obvious that and I mean, if you look at it statistically, a lot of marriage, first pregnancy, it happens. I mean, I had we went through that when our first
mm.
pregnancy. We lost. I mean, it was only 3 months old, the pregnancy, but yeah. So like I said, I watched that recently, and I think it was pretty solid that the writers went. I don't know what you think about that.
It doesn't. It resonates with. Well, my this is actually my second marriage with my wife. Prior to that, uh, I didn't. We didn't really try to have children. I know my wife had a few. This was her first. My daughter's her first child. Um, but there was a lot of when she was younger. I think she before she met me, when she was younger, she maybe almost had a child, but it didn't happen. So there was a lot of stuff to overcome
I know.
in
Yeah.
that with the first marriage. I mean, with the first childbirth,
Yeah.
there was on her end, there was things like that we both had to deal with to get through together. Um, just because it affected her, because this time we were actually going to have it. I mean, thankfully, both of our kids came out healthy and well, relatively on time.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, I know. Yeah,
yeah,
some of them came really early, but they're
yeah.
okay.
Really late. My daughter is actually born on my grandfather's 101st birthday.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and we didn't. Yeah, we weren't. She was due probably a few days before,
Yeah,
but yeah, but all three of us are born in April. My wife, my daughter, and myself, all within.
really.
Yeah, my daughter's birthday is 3 days before mine, and then my wife's birthday is like 10 days before hers. She's in the mid-April, and then my
Yeah,
daughter and I are at the end April, and then my son's in the middle of October. So, but but yeah, we have in our family. There's a lot. My extended family. There's a lot of April
really.
birthdays, and she
That's
just happened to
interesting.
be born. Yeah, on the morning of my grandfather's 101st birthday.
That's
So
interesting.
yeah,
Yeah, and so I am guessing that same happened. The same thing that happened to me is happening to you. Our birthdays are long forgotten, because my oldest boy is 1 week early. My son's birthday is 1 week earlier than mine.
yeah,
He's February 14th, and mine is 21st.
mhm,
So we make a big party for him, and
yeah,
and then my birthday
yeah,
is just like, here are some socks, enjoy.
yeah. So this year, this April, my daughter's turning 3, and we're going away for a week. And then within that week, my birthday falls within that week, but it doesn't. It's about her birthday, more or less, because we have all these activities, and then my birthday is just another day. So it just happens to be my birthday.
Yeah, exactly.
But
But it's something that you know
yeah,
voluntarily give up. I mean,
yeah.
I'm not sad about it. I mean,
No, it's fine. I mean, I think about that the same way too, because we have some friends who, have kids who are born around Christmas time.
yeah,
And then those kids, sometimes the parents look at it like, oh, it's so easy because it's
one
just one
present.
time, once the one present, one time a year instead of two. You know?
Yeah, yeah. Yeah,
So,
same.
but I think it's nice because I think the way it works now is we can, if we want to, when we get older, like we can just all go on a maybe have a big large trip together to celebrate everybody.
Yeah, that's
You
right.
know,
That's a good idea, actually.
so yeah, when they're older and they can appreciate sharing their birthday.
And the
But
presents, maybe.
yeah, and the presents. Yeah,
So we were talking about the other day how because I think your job schedules are interesting, and we were kind of talking about how like you can balance your family life and your work life, and it's kind of tricky. So I'd like
yeah.
to get us through that a little. How a day of your work looks like, and how do you handle being a
Typical day
dad?
of our work. We're still trying to figure that out. We had my son's only 4 months old, and we weren't. I don't think we are anywhere near figuring out how to juggle our work schedule with our daughter. And then now that we have two, we plan. Like I'm a planner. My wife's a little bit more spontaneous, but I try to plan. I had this calendar this calendar every day where I tried to map out every 2 hours alternating watching the child and then working and then watching the child and working.
Oh
And I was like,
gosh.
oh, this is going to be so great because from 8 to 10 on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, I can work and then she'll watch the two kids. And then every other day, we'll switch. But
Yeah.
it didn't end up that way, especially because not, I'm sure it's the same thing with everybody's kind of work, but our field, it doesn't, production doesn't lend itself into 2 hour
Yeah,
time
yeah,
increments. And then for me, when I'm editing, I like to take a break once in a while, but if I'm in like focused, I can't stop for 2 hours and then come back and pick up consistently where I
yeah.
left off
Lose the
after
train,
another two
right?
hours. It's just the train of thought. And this season in our life, um, because like I told you a little bit our company when we spoke before, it's expanding, but we moved into a larger house so we can cut down on costs with a facility, and we were using some of our rooms as studio space. But now we're in the middle of a big renovation because we can't use the studio space anymore because we need it for the kids.
Yeah.
So I'm juggling work, my wife's juggling work. because we also work together. So she does a lot of the marketing and then a lot of the photography and everything for some of our commercial clients, and I handle the production. And then we also have a small staff. But now I'm also renovating our garage to accommodate all of our studio and
Hmm.
everything else, which is what I was doing all day today.
Yeah.
Well, my wife was watching the kids who it's it's interesting because now my daughter's potty training as
Yeah.
well. So she's trying to handle that and everything else, and I'm trying to handle that. It's there's no everyday. My wife does she sacrifices a lot for me, so I do a
Yeah.
lot because I have to catch up. Like we have new clients, and then we're trying to stabilize like uh our editing clients and everything else. Like a lot of them are new at this stage, and I need to talk to them and juggle. So my wife ends up having to work a lot of late hours.
Yeah.
Um, and it's not a even trade off, because I'm a planner and I have a producing background. I try to keep everything on schedule, and I'm learning slowly that you can't do that,
Yeah.
especially with two kids. Even though I like to, because it's before the kids, it was easy. My wife, not easy, but it was still challenging. But production, we had 12-hour production days for say a set amount of time, and then if we're doing the whole thing, then we have post production, which it could go on late hours,
Yeah.
like late hours just staring at a screen. And then on top of that, we have auditions that we have to travel to pre-COVID, everything. But now with kids, it makes things a lot more challenging, and now I see why a lot of people take time off from part of what we do when they have children.
Yeah. Yeah.
But
Yeah.
but we've been slowly trying to navigate that, only because it's different, because we have our own business, we have employees as well that we have to maintain. And the marketing, everything is it's all on us. Like there's no other person, or we don't have a boss, so
Mhm.
if we stop,
There's no
everything
money.
stops.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's no money, not only for us, but for our employees or anything like that.
Yeah.
So
I see that.
it gets a little difficult at times, and it
Yeah.
causes a lot of like conflict with my wife and I a
I
lot
see
of
that. Yeah.
times. And it's not just the work, it's just our personalities. My wife and I are very opposite in a way, like
Yeah.
you see. I don't know, I guess you kind of see that in Bluey between Chili and Bandit. Um to an extent, like we share traits from both of them, my wife and I, but I'm very, very type A, very rigid, and she's more go with the flow, but she has a part of her that wants to accommodate everybody.
Yeah. We're the invert version of you and
Yeah,
your wife. Me. I am the free. And
yeah,
she's the one that goes by the rules every time. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. So I'm slowly starting. I'm not comfortable with it, with stretching the rules or anything. If I say, if I give somebody a time, I like to be early and everything like that. But and it was difficult before we had kids, but now that we have kids, I'm learning with the kids, you can't. They haven't discovered that part yet. They're going to take as long as they're going to need, and they're going to take as long as they want until they learn, because they're learning. And my
Yeah.
wife's she's a little bit more understanding of that. I think it's because, just like they're more flexible.
Yeah.
So that's something that I'm learning.
And I mean, there's no right or wrongs on that. I
Yeah.
mean, I mean, you have, like we said on the other call, we you have to come up with a plan. I mean,
Yeah.
there's no right or wrongs. That what I mean by that is that it's not wrong if right now your wife is the one who gotta make the most sacrifices for this season, because I know there will be some other season where you'll
Yeah.
have to put in the work, and so like there's no right or wrongs. I mean, you have to
Yeah.
do something, and you have to actually survive. Like you have
Yeah.
to you have to you know push forward on your business, but also be a dad.
Yeah.
And so your wife also needs to push the business and being a mom.
Yeah.
So there is no right answer to that. I mean, and of course there will be some friction. I mean, it's incredible. I mean, it's we're very similar on that because I have my job. I was starting a post production company, post
Mhm.
production agency. My wife has eyelash extension business. We have the
Mhm.
kids. I'm running this podcast. We have also some other duties to do. So like it's it's like, why are you getting more responsibilities to do if you have enough? But I don't know. I just We just have a lot of things to do, and a lot of times my wife, like right now, my wife is with the kids downstairs
Mhm.
just for me to do this thing because I think
Mhm.
it's important. And there is no right or wrong answer. I mean, you have to come up with a plan and you have to actually implement that plan so we can get things done, you know. And
Yeah.
sometimes it's difficult for us, the dad. Sometimes it's difficult for moms.
Yeah.
But you know, it is what it is. And at the end of the day, we talk, my wife and I, like almost every day before bed. We watch some TV after getting the kids to bed, and we talk for like 2 3 hours about what are we doing right and wrong with our kids.
Mhm.
Just watching, you know, Friends or Lord of the
Yeah.
Rings or whatever.
Yeah.
And that's like our time, my wife's and mine.
Yeah.
That's our time when we talk. We say what's working. We talk about what's not working. If we have a discussion or we are angry or whatever, we try to fix that on that time. So at the end of the day, we try to work things out, but we are definitely stressed during the day
Yeah.
because
I think
there's a ton
for,
of things that should be done.
yeah,
Go ahead.
my wife and I honestly have been, we don't talk as much as we used to just because I think work and the new child, and I think she's still, she's still going through postpartum, um, with the baby and everything, and she's worked. She didn't get as much maternity leave as she would like, um, and I think that's helpful that you told me that because I think we've been trying to implement something to where we were able to communicate
Yeah.
a little bit better about what we're doing. She does a lot of research about how to raise children,
Hmm.
and and she likes to share that stuff with me, but a lot of times I feel like it's it's hard for me to keep my attention on that because I'm trying to figure out a lot of different things, and she is too, but she's so focused on that, and that's good. And she's really, is it balanced right now that she watches it? No, it's not. She's And what I do isn't any more or less important than what she's doing with the kids or her
Yeah.
work or anything like that. This morning she went to get her hair done for like an hour or two. So I was with the kids for like in the morning. I don't know how it's hard, like even for like an hour or two with them. I I don't know how she does it, you know.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
I
yeah.
know, and for the most part, like they're the younger ones sleeping a little bit, but then when they're, it I like playing with them. Like on my relationship with my daughter and my son, who's he's still new, is very much like Bandit. Like we play, we do a lot of you know make believe, we do a lot of stuff like that all day long. But when it comes to like my daughter will cuddle with me and stuff like that. But as far as who she's attached to and very clingy to, she's very close to my wife.
Hmm.
Um, and then in the morning, I've been trying to just take my son for a few hours because I can put him back to sleep, and I let him sleep in another room and I just watch him while my wife and my daughter can sleep because we're still bed sharing with them is another choice that we used to make,
Yeah.
or that we made as far as the sleeping arrangement goes with the two kids. So it's not always ideal. I mean, we have a decent sized bed, but when it's like my wife and me and my daughter and son, and then we have a dog, and they're all we have a big dog, and they're all there. I
That sounds
get
fun.
I get a little edge. I'm basically
Yeah.
just a barrier to make sure my daughter or son don't roll off the bed.
I hear you. I hear
At
you.
the same time, I'm
Yeah.
trying to, not sleep, but I'm trying to sleep too, but trying to sleep and not fall off the bed. even though we have so much room,
Yeah,
and
I hear you. So I
yeah,
mean, our kids, they have their beds, they
yeah,
have their rooms, but yeah, I mean, let's not lie here.
yeah,
Almost every night, one or two of my daughters crawl into our beds.
yeah,
So yeah, it's the same thing. I mean,
yeah.
yesterday I had the middle one like right here, and I was just like turning this way, and
Mhm,
I had her little hand like here, like trying to hug
mhm,
me, and then I
yeah,
turned back, and her head was, you know, inserted here, and
yeah,
I was at the edge of the bed too. So yeah, I hear you. I hear you.
yeah. And then in the middle of the night, she'll have her head here, but then she wants to turn around, and I wake up, and she's she gets her foot.
Yeah, Sleepy Time,
So
the episode. Yeah, that's why I love the Sleepy Time. It's not my favorite episode, but
yeah,
Sleepy Time, I felt so related to that episode
yeah,
because it's exactly the same. Like my wife goes to one of the kids, and
mhm,
then I take in the middle of the night. I take the other one to the to go pee,
mhm,
and then the other goes to my bed, and then like yeah,
yeah.
I love that episode because it's so true. I mean, it's like they're spying on us or
Yeah, a
something.
lot of it is relatable. I mean, the one thing I see about Bluey too was between Bluey and Bingo is their relationship. Like I didn't
Yeah.
because my son's so young, I wasn't sure how my daughter was going to react to him. Because the first few months she was called him the baby. She didn't really pay attention to him too much. But now they're trying to make each other laugh. They're starting to play
I
together,
see
even
that.
though he doesn't like my son likes to just stare at his sister and he'll laugh. And then sometimes when my daughter's not cranky, she'll try to make him laugh, but other times she'll just say
Yeah.
no. but
Yeah.
um,
Yeah.
but it's good because I remember when my wife weren't sure if we were going to have another child. We weren't even sure if we were going to have a first child at all. But then when it came to the second, I come from a family where I have two sisters. I have an older and younger sister. But my wife, she doesn't have any siblings. And to me, it was important that my daughter had a brother or sister just because I'm, my sisters live in different places now, but we talk and we're close. There's somebody to talk to. And then I remember there's always somebody to play with.
Yeah.
And I mean, some people grow apart, but I think it's important growing up to have that bond.
Absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely. We said to have two, and then the third came along when we thought we weren't gonna have a third, and then she came. But yeah, that was my thought actually. I mean, I have two siblings. I'm the youngest of three,
Mhm,
and I also wanted to have three. But when we have our second, we thought that was it. Because let me tell you a fun story. It's not a fun story. Let me tell you a very interesting story. Before we got married, my wife and I, like 1 or 2 years, something like that. My wife had a dream that, on her dream, she saw two kids.
mhm,
She saw an older boy and a younger girl, and on that dream, the oldest one was called Obed. That's the name of my oldest, and then the
mhm,
youngest girl was called Sarah, and
mhm,
then this was like 5 years before we have a
mhm,
first, and then when we get to have our first boy, she remembers that dream, and we name him like that. And
mhm,
then 1 year and a half later, we get pregnant again, and we have a girl, and we
mhm.
name her Sarah. So we thought that's it. I mean, those kids, my wife saw them on a dream, so I think that's it. Like
Oh,
those are perfect.
yeah.
But a year and a half later, we get pregnant again,
Mhm.
and yeah. So we thought we're gonna have two, but I mean three's a lot. So let me
Yeah.
tell you that three is a lot, but it's fun. It's fun because like you said, they the oldest one is five, and the middle one is three. So
Mhm,
they get along just fine.
mhm,
They play good and all
mhm.
that. And but the two girls, the youngest one is 2 years and 3 years. The middle one, they are struggling to get along right now.
Mhm.
But it's just that the more kids you have, the less attention you can get to them as a parent.
Yeah.
So that's why third kids are the wildest.
I guess my youngest sister is probably I don't know if she's the wildest. I think my older sister was. well, but there's a bigger gap. I think there's maybe a 3 to 4 year gap between me and my younger sister. But my older sister, there's only like a year and maybe 14 months. We're
Hmm.
closer. So I was able to watch my older sister, do a lot of rebelling, do a lot of,
Yeah,
know, a lot of different things. And then my younger sister, I just watched them both, and I don't know if it's different from boys or girls,
yeah,
in that respect. I think my mom always preferred boys. I think it's just because I was easier, you
yeah.
know.
They are easy. They are easier.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but I don't right now. I We're still learning that. I mean, my son's only 4 months, and my daughter, we're not having I don't see any problems that we're having with her outside of with that 3 years that she's been with us. You
yeah,
know, she just seems like a normal happy kid, and how she's very resilient. I told you before, like the just watching them react to certain things, compared to how me or my wife react to the same thing. It's different. They Not that they forget immediately, but they're very quick to just recover,
yeah,
I think.
yeah, yeah. I mean, that was interesting. That was a good talk that we
Yeah.
had the other day about how kids adapt faster to
Yeah.
things, to struggles. I don't know if I told you that about that, but when COVID hit, like 2019, was it?
The end
Like
2000 the end of 2019,
like
2000.
on like on March, something like
Yeah.
that, 2019. I made a really quick short film. Like it's not a short film. It's
Mm-hmm.
just me recording my kids and
Mm-hmm.
but the story was that me and my wife would be playing with them and do all kind of crazy stupid thing. Like I recorded them on this like inflatable pool that we have,
Mm-hmm.
and they were playing all sort of stuff. I made a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle shell, my
Mm-hmm.
son, and I recorded them while I was doing that. But on every shot, you can hear on the background the news saying that there was a lot of diseases, and
Mm-hmm.
the COVID was taking the
Mm-hmm.
world around, and the message was kind of like bad things. Like we said, the bad things always happen.
Mm-hmm.
There will always be some bad things around the world,
Yeah.
but the way you react is the only thing that matters. So kids are aware that COVID is here. Kids are aware that a war is in
Yeah.
other part of the world. They are aware. They don't process like we do, but they are
Mhm.
aware of that. So they
Yeah.
kind of choose to keep on playing instead of
Yeah.
worrying. Because my oldest one is 5 year old, and
Mm-hmm.
he is a little hung up on stress and
Mm-hmm.
worrying. That's something
Mm-hmm.
that we are trying to get a psychologist figure
Mm-hmm.
out, because he tends to worry a little too much. We're
Mm-hmm.
suspecting maybe ADHD or something,
Mm-hmm.
because emotional dysregulation.
Yeah.
But that kind of reinforces what I'm talking about. They know what's going on. They know that bad things happen,
Yeah.
but most of the time they choose to keep on playing, and that's
Yeah.
something we could learn from. I mean,
Yeah.
we definitely choose what our reaction will be, in regards to like bad news
Yeah.
overall. So I think that's an interesting thing to look. And yeah, I mean that's the resilience you're talking about. Your daughter,
Yeah. And I
they
think
adapt.
Yeah, and I think that resilience is present in everybody. I think just as you grow older, you feel like, well, especially for me, because of my and I have to take care of things right away.
Yeah,
That's just my personality. But in reality, I don't. I could choose to not put it off, but I don't have to deal with things when something happens right this second. I could take the time to, enjoy what's happening now, enjoy life.
yeah,
I don't have to, but it's to the point where, and kids don't have to worry about this, where, you get people who just constantly do that and they never deal with anything. Um,
like me, for instance.
well, some people, and then, but I
No,
guess in
just
a
kidding.
way, everybody's everybody needs a little bit of that because it's the only way that people can relax. Because there's always you can I think you can always find something to worry about.
Yeah, exactly.
There's always something. You turn the news on and you find anything. Like even what's going on right now is, it's horrible, it's terrible. But before anything, COVID, before anything, you could always find something. If you're looking for something bad, you can find it. You know,
Exactly, exactly.
but
Yeah,
not people have ever look for something good because it's not even that it's prevalent. Is that they're I don't know why people are just conditioned to always look for the news and media and everything is just always focusing on the news is just bad things. You know, it's always giving you something to worry about. So
yeah. I mean, putting
yeah,
aside the people that has some depression levels that
yeah,
are, due to some chemical on the
yeah.
brain, setting that aside, is it's absolutely possible that you develop a dependency on drama,
Oh yeah, yeah,
on bad things, and being surrounded by bad things. And
yeah,
I mentioned the depression thing because I know some people that have,
yeah,
deep depression, and it's not
mhm,
that something they choose or
yeah,
they can control. It's a terrible problem.
yeah,
But leaving that aside, there are a lot of people that are, like you said, always looking for bad things around the world
yeah,
just so they can be sad.
yeah,
And
yeah.
you can develop a dependency on feeling bad and
I've
finding
heard
bad
that.
stuff.
Yeah, barring any mental illness is what I agree with you. It's like you can. That's what I meant by if you want to find something to complain about, you want to find because nothing's perfect.
Yeah,
Nothing's perfect. So, but you just have to. I think you're just celebrating, you know, a lot of the positive things in your life and learning to focus on that, and then knowing that you can get back and deal with the negative from a more positive place.
yeah, exactly. That's
Yeah.
that's how I like to, resolve things when we have issues, me and my wife,
Hmm.
because my wife tends to be a little, how should I say, like explosive sometimes.
Hmm.
And so I know I can't uh, try to come up with a solution when the emotions are
Yeah.
like that. So, just wait until the problem,
Yeah.
sets down, and then we can talk and we can figure out together.
Yeah. I think that's what I'm learning too, because I think me and my wife are opposite from you and your wife, where I'm explosive too, but if I have to deal with something, I like to deal with things right away. For
Yeah,
my wife, it's easier, not easier, but it's easier for her to walk away and come back to it. For me, I
exactly.
can't. It's hard for me to do that because if I step away from it and it's not dealt with, if it comes up again, I'm still trying. I just go up again. I just have to. I'm trying to control that and trying to understand that about myself when we speak because I don't right now I can't wrap my head around okay, cooling off, I kind of understand that, but leaving things unresolved and coming down, if the thing for me doesn't get resolved or if there's no it doesn't have to be 100% closure because I think sometimes you just have to accept that you're different, and you're not going to see eye to eye on every situation. It's just finding a compromise.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
think.
And like as I say this often to my wife, that we have to acknowledge that, like we were talking about, these times are stressful enough.
Yeah.
Like we have enough things on our plates, and we should give us some room because we're not angry at each other. We just stressed, and feel with all things we need to do, and all the work, all the kids, and all that. So if I say something angry to her, or she comes up with some hurting things that she might say, I try to not take it like personally right at that moment.
Yeah.
And I tell her, like, just remember and be mindful that we are already stressed. So it's not me talking, it's my stress talking
Yeah.
when I'm angry. So I try to, if she says something that, gets me, I try to go like just ignore it. I mean, it's not her, it's just the stress around things. And if it is something that we need to take care of, then I try to wait until I am more calm,
Mhm.
because my wife, she's a little like you. Like, if we try to pick it up, like later at night,
Mhm.
there are some cases where she gets, high again on
Yeah.
that emotion. But it's easier to come up with a solution, because if there is a problem that needs solution, we need to talk, the two of us together.
Mhm.
If it's just a thing that we can agree on, like, if nothing will happen, nothing really would happen if we don't agree on something, then we just don't discuss about that. We don't fight about it. Like you
Yeah.
said, just agree that we are different and we think differently.
Yeah. I
We don't
think
have to resolve that.
yeah, and that's what I think that's what you're able to articulate what I've been trying to tell my wife in regards to those things, because I'm not very um I like to say, I just say what comes on my mind, and it's hard for me to try to make things sound very nice, when I'm speaking. And not that I'm being mean, it's just I'm more logical
Yeah,
in the
yeah,
way that I speak. And she said something about the stress, like similar to what you said. And if it's just my stress talking, and then when I'm talking to her and I want, or she feels like I want a definitive answer, she just tells me, well, I think you just need to find a way to manage your stress, you know because it's the stress talking. It doesn't really have anything to do with the situation at hand. But it's hard for me to take that sometimes, because it's like, okay, well, I I didn't ask you to tell me, like, the disagreement is this, and trying to find a way, trying to decide what's worth arguing about and what's not.
yeah,
I think sometimes what we fall into is, I feel like it's not worth arguing about, but whatever that is, it's important to her. But I think what we need to do is decide if it's important for us together to have to agree on that thing,
yeah. Exactly,
where,
exactly.
or if it never gets resolved, if things would still be okay without it. Like, it's not uh dire that we resolve that particular issue.
Exactly, because
Yeah.
if we are not careful, that things escalate quickly. I mean,
Yeah.
like, I heard a term that I haven't heard before. I was watching a Jordan Peterson video, and talking about social media, and like, if we get to that tit for tat
Mhm.
argument,
Mhm.
like, I say something, you say something harder, I slap you, you punch me,
Yeah.
then we are on an all open fight.
Yeah.
So, like, somebody said on the Facebook group that we're on, sorry, like, you have to choose your battles. If it's not worth, let's just say that we don't agree on that.
Yeah.
If something needs a solution urgently,
Yeah.
then, like, I try to tell this to my wife, like, let's leave emotions out for a second, and let's see this as a business talk,
Mhm.
that you can be angry with. I mean, you can, of course, but you are
Yeah.
trying to be polite with that, because
Yeah.
you need to resolve the issue. So
Yeah.
let's try to talk about that. Let's give emotions
Yeah.
for a second so we can solve this.
Yeah. That's challenging for us, because
For
we
everybody,
work
for everybody.
well, yeah, for everybody, also for us, we work together too. So it sometimes it bleeds into business talk.
Naturally, yeah,
you,
naturally.
you know because I don't notice, like, when my voice changes, or her voice changes, and we're in a business setting. It's hard to go, okay, is this about this, or is this about that, or is it really just a business discussion? you know and I think that's the challenge too, with husband and wife who have a business together and work together, because my wife and I have been in business together. We've had a variety of different business together, and they've all been well. None of them have really, we've never gone out of business. We've decided to close things to move on to better opportunity, or something closer to our field, and
Yeah.
something that we can actually see ourselves making our life together with. Oddly enough, we chose production,
Oops.
and a lot of people choose that, like, oh, well, will I have more time with my family? Will I have more time with my kids? And we
Yeah,
chose
right.
business, and we chose production. I think we're doing something that nobody's ever done before within that. We're trying to keep it, we're trying to raise our kids at the same time that we're building this production business, so it's the times are so different now. I think that it's always challenging, but at the same time I don't see my family or me doing anything else different because
Yeah.
we've done different
Good
things.
point. Good point.
And I look at it like, even though physical production, I mean, post takes a lot of time too, but pre-production, actual production, we're still home we still I still see my daughter and my kids more often than a lot of people who go away to work, you know 8 hours a day, and only on weekends. Like, we have more or less freedom of time, but we have more responsibility where we have to manage our own time. There's nobody telling us, okay, you have to be here from 8 to 5. Sometimes we're still, we sleep in a little bit later because the kids stay up later.
Yeah. Yeah.
But we're starting to adapt, and I think I keep trying to tell myself it's only for a little while that
That's right. That's
our
right.
children are they're going to grow faster. It's like when you mentioned that Bluey's from the perspective of the older versions of them and how they see
Yeah.
the world before. It goes by so fast. I mean, I I didn't forget what my daughter was like when she was 4 months old, because when I look at my son, but I can see that we're looking at my son, looking at my daughter, I can see how fast the time goes by.
Yeah. That's right.
But this morning, when I was watching them myself for an hour, it felt like days. So it just felt like a lot of time when it was only an hour. And my wife does that every day recently for the last ever since my son was born too. So it's not, and I think for me, I don't say it enough how much I appreciate that,
Yeah.
because I get so caught up in work and trying dealing with my own problems that I think I need to look at that, tell them more that I appreciate them too, you
Yeah.
know
Yeah. It's like
'cause,
it's like they say. I mean, days are long, but years
yeah
are short.
yeah
And yeah, yeah, I totally see that. And I forget what's so going. Yeah, I mean, there will be one day that things might be easier,
hmm
like on business side, because
yeah
kids are older and they can
yeah
whatever. And undoubtedly, you're gonna miss these days. I mean, these
yeah
days are a hustle. These days are
yeah
awful. They are painful. They
yeah
are really difficult. But there will be one day that our kids won't crawl on our beds, and they will
yeah
have their own rooms and all that. And we're gonna look back and say like, it was difficult, but it was
yeah
it was fun.
and right now it's our my daughter takes so much interest in what I'm doing when I'm editing something, or when we have a client and they need it's easier for me to use my daughter as talent if they need it, and things like that. And we can do that right now. I don't know if, my wife and I, like I said, we're both in the entertainment industry. I don't know if my daughter will want to go in that field. Maybe she'll want to do something more traditional. But in these moments, we have those memories where we can make believe, we can make movies and films and shorts together with our kids. And I think that's something that a lot of people don't have that time to, they don't have that luxury, even though we're so busy. And I think it's good because they're able to, they know all our employees. I mean, it's a very close knit community here at our company, because we're at the point where a lot of our we have a small company, but a lot of our employees have kids the same age as my daughter, and then so they're all growing up together. Um, and it's giving them that time to socialize, especially during COVID when there was no school. I mean, our kids are still haven't gone to school yet, but they're already socializing, and they're very, you know, they're adapting, and I think their growth is right on par where it's supposed to be right now.
Yeah, and that that's the important thing because, like I say a lot. Oops, something fell here. Like I said on this podcast, like there's no right or wrongs.
Yeah.
There's no perfect way of parenting, and like I said, I commented on a thread on the podcast like we talk about Bandit, how perfect he is as dad, how perfectly imperfect he is as a dad.
Mhm.
But I was saying like let's not forget that he still is a cartoon dog,
Yeah.
and he is an idealized perfect dad.
Yeah.
There are no such thing in the real world. There is no such thing
Yeah.
as a perfect dad like Bandit. We can take some bits from him exactly the same way as we take some things from other dads, real dads and movie dads or something like that. But the thing with that is that when we see that thing and we try to be like him, we start like not being ourselves. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So yeah, that's the thing. The solutions you make for your kids are especially for your kids, and that's the best solution you came up with, and that's the perfect solution for your
Yeah.
family. So there's no need to say like, and we all do that, but
Yeah.
there's no need to say like, I wish I was more like that, or
Yeah.
more like this and all that. Because like I said on that thread, some dad was asking for advice about being more like Bandit, like,
Mhm.
but he was referring to be more goofy, more playful, and all that.
Yeah.
And I said like, if you want to be more playful and goofy with your dad, with your kids, just be like that.
Yeah.
Whatever level you achieve on that goofiness, that's you. That's the real you, and that's
Yeah.
how it should come. That's
Yeah.
how you should be with your kids.
Yeah.
So that's your special solution for your kids. It could definitely be better because we're not perfect, but it
Yeah.
is what it is, and it is what you choose for your family. So
Yeah.
if it works for you, that's your perfect solution.
Yeah.
No right
And
or
I
wrongs, no judging.
think to respond to that comment is your kids don't they're not looking for you to be Bandit. They're looking for you to spend time with them. However, I don't think they care what you do a lot of the times. You could be
Yeah,
silly, you could be crazy. They just want the time together. Because there's
exactly.
times where I'm being silly with my daughter and she has fun with it. But sometimes she just wants me to hug her or she doesn't want that. She'll say, no, 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 no. Like she doesn't, it's too much for her at that time. But she just wants you to be there, to know you're there, you know. Like it doesn't matter what level of goofy. She doesn't have, she's not looking for Bandit to be her father. She's looking
Exactly.
for you to be the father that you know how to be, and that's enough for them. At least from my perspective, at the age that my kids are at right now, that's my understanding. Is like she doesn't care what we do when we spend time together. You know,
Yeah. All good?
yeah.
Oh, okay. I thought you heard something or are you good on
Oh
your
no,
side? Okay, cool.
yeah,
Yeah, like that. You hit the point. You hit the nail on the head. I
yeah,
mean, even if they like watching Bluey and they don't care about Mandy, they care about
yeah,
you
yeah.
know, and they don't go like. Actually, that was the thing with the thread of the Facebook thing that I was talking
Mhm.
about. It was in regards to Chloe's that they don't.
Oh, I think I saw that when he said, "Chloe, I want to be more like Bandit. I'm more like Chloe's father."
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
yeah,
So our kids will like most likely will never will never say that they will not go like God can I mean Dad, can you be more like Bandit?
yeah,
They don't care about Bandit, they care about
yeah,
you. I mean they my kids ask me for some Bandit games,
yeah,
like they would say I don't know whatever game they're playing, like when we get to a trampoline or tumbling or
yeah,
whatever, they'll ask for the breakfast
yeah,
games that they play, but they're not saying I want Bandit to be my dad. Like you said,
yeah.
you hit the nail in the head. I mean, they want you. They don't want Bandit.
Yeah, they want you to. When they see the episode, they're not imagining them replacing Bluey and Bingo, and then it's Bandit. They take the whole picture. Like this is me, this is my sibling, and this is my dad, and we're
Exactly.
doing that activity. It's not so literal.
Yeah. Because, like we said on the other call, they are making memories. I mean, particularly our kids, yours and mine,
Yeah,
are kind of too old to remember when they get older. When they get older, all the
yeah,
things we're doing. but the games and the time we spend with them are shaping their personalities right now.
Yeah.
So they might not remember the games exactly, but they are forming their little minds
Yeah. And I
around the
think,
games that we play
mhm,
with them.
yeah. And I think it's they don't remember exactly, but they know the experience. I think the feeling
Yeah.
that they get, like they were loved and they were, they had that experience and they had time, you know, spent with us rather than, I know there's times when Bandit and Chili do have work and they go, you just never see it. But from a memory as a kid, you're not with them that time. So your memories with your parents aren't that.
Yeah.
But when it comes to the point where they're at work and then when they come home, there's still a disconnect and they don't do those things with your kids, that's when you feel like, oh, my parents were working all the time. Because even
Yeah.
when they're home, they're not home, So
Yeah. That and the thing with that is when you're present with your kids, even if you don't play all the time, like for
mhm,
example the episode the Mount Mom and Dad,
mhm,
that they get home from a vacation or something like that, and
mhm,
the dads are so tired, and they say, and the kids say like, let's play something or whatever, and they go like, you guys play with anything you want,
mhm,
in as long as we don't get up or we don't move
yeah,
any muscle of our bodies. So even you don't have to do anything, just the fact that you are there and you are present on their lives shapes
yeah,
them in a different way,
yeah,
rather than like there's a lot of people that grew up having both parents but never present, and
yeah,
that shapes you in a very different way.
yeah,
So that's the easiest and most difficult job there is, being a dad, because sometimes you just have to be present.
yeah,
I mean, and it's the most difficult things for obvious reasons, but
yeah,
you just have to be there for them,
yeah,
just to have them create their memories with you being around, because
yeah,
like you said, and we were talking about the other in the other call, they won't remember what you do for work. Like
yeah,
they won't go like when they have their own kids, and they
mhm,
won't go to their siblings and go like, hey, remember that day that that was working. That's it.
yeah,
They won't do that. They would
yeah,
just remember the days when they had fun
yeah,
with the family.
yeah. When they're there, you can't make memories with somebody who's not there,
Exactly, that's what
So
I mean.
yeah, I understand. That's true.
Yeah, and so that's kind of our job. I mean, besides the obvious thing that providing and all that, being there and play with them just to help them.
Yeah.
Like I was talking to Jake the other day. That's other guest from the
Mhm.
show, about how I like to see things, like see parenting as on the early stages. Your job is to build enough bridges of communication and emotion with your kids, so when they get to the teenage phase of their lives or whatever, when they want to burn every bridge they possibly can, so they find and so they can find some bridges to go back to you.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So all these memories, all these things that you do, all the serious talks or the goofy talks or
Yeah.
the bedtime stories, those are your bridges that you're building with them.
Yeah.
And if you make them strong enough, either they won't fall on teenage phase, or they will fall, but you you would have made enough bridges so they can get back to you.
Yeah. And I think that's my wife. Like I said, my wife does a lot of research, and she's a lot of this is coming from the way she grew up and the way her relationship with her parents, and what she did when she was younger, and then what she did when she was a teenager. The relationship that she had with her parents when she was younger influenced her relationship with her parents now that she's an adult. And what we're trying to do and what she really wants to do with my daughter and my son is the way that she's trying to raise them now. She wants to keep the bridges open so it's easier for them to talk to us when something happens when they're older, as opposed
Exactly.
to however she was brought up, where she didn't feel comfortable or safe talking to a parent about things that are going on in their life.
Exactly.
When so it's just like it's basically the same thing. And I think that's that you were saying is those bridges need to always be open, and they need to know that it's always open and feel safe and free and not to be judged or condemned when they do want to take that bridge and talk to you about something that's going on, because
Yeah.
like, it's more of like the trust, that the trust is always consistently always going to be there. um and that's something I think that's different in parenting now as it was when I was growing up when I was younger, because it's not traditional,
Yeah.
and there's a lot of things that were too like taboo to talk about, or you don't say anything about it,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
kind of learn it later, but then you don't really understand how to talk about it. So they make it very hard, or they make them feel ashamed to even talk to your parent or an adult that you respect about certain things that are going on with your life as a adolescent.
Yeah. And then as far as as there are some families that feels awkward to say I love you to the family.
Yeah.
So I mean, that's like the most common word in my
Yeah,
family.
I
Very
didn't. Well, I
formal.
mean, growing up, I know my wife didn't grow up. I don't know if she grew up saying that a lot. I know I didn't realize it till now that we didn't say that that often. I mean, I didn't realize it that my growing up, my family we didn't say I love you a lot, and my sister told me that, and I was like, oh, I guess. But the thing with me is, I always felt loved, even though we didn't say it. I always felt it. But my sisters noticed that that word didn't come out a lot.
Yeah.
But for me, I didn't even. I felt loved, so I didn't really feel the need to hear it all the time, because it was something that I knew, or I thought that was assumed.
Yeah.
Which is why it's harder for me. I'm not a words type of person. I'm more of like an action type of person. I don't know if you know about like the love languages or
Yeah.
anything like
Yeah. I'm
that.
aware of
Mine's
that.
mine's not words. My wife is words, and words is very low on my. It's on the bottom,
Yeah. Yeah.
but it's at her top, and then my top is at her bottom. So it's always a
Yeah.
struggle, because
That was
it
weird.
makes the communication is different, because
Yeah.
I don't understand like how a simple like you look nice today or you did a great job at that
Exactly. Yeah.
would make
Yeah.
her day. But for me, like because I'm so logical in the beginning of a relationship, I used to set a timer at 10 a.m. every morning because she got mad. She used to get mad that I wouldn't compliment her. So I would put compliment, my wife at 10 a.m. every morning, and the alarm would go off.
That's
And
very
I'm
nice.
not very good with words, so it would always be like, "You did a good job. You did a good job today."
At 10 a.m.
Every day, good job today at 10 a.m. What did I do? It's just a compliment, right? Good job. But it wasn't working because that's not what she's asking for. She wanted it to be organic. But on the other side of that coin, it's like sometimes me saying, because I'm not a words person, me saying something like a good job isn't as empty as somebody like her saying to somebody. It's a
Yeah.
big deal for me because I don't say a lot of those words. Like that's at the top of my compliment scale.
But it works. The thing with the love languages is that
Yeah.
it works both ways. I
Yeah.
mean, you have to do your work, like trying to say
Yeah.
some things, but she has to know that you setting an alarm for that is a big deal for you. It's a big deal that you are trying to not forget to say anything,
Yeah.
so long that you have to set up an alarm so that
Yeah.
you won't miss that mark.
Yeah.
So it goes both ways. I mean, she has to acknowledge that you are trying, and she has to
Yeah.
know that you are giving love to her. I mean, let's not make this a marriage,
No, it's not a
but
marriage
yeah,
thing. But I'm doing that because we're starting. I'm wondering about that because you start to see what your children kind of value and everything like that. Because I know what you said was like me setting the alarm. That's more of like uh, an action type thing, and that's at the top of mine. So it's just trying to understand, to see those languages and being able to know like, okay, well, she appreciates that, but she is learning to speak another language. Basically, it's the same thing. And I think for me, it's like it's interesting for me to watch my daughter. my son, I'm not sure yet because he's 4 months old. But my daughter, what she responds to and see, because I think that's something that's organic. I mean, it changes over time, but I think from a parenting standpoint, also it's learning if they want to communicate with you later. That has a big part of what it is, because I think to me it's like there's a lot of stories, you hear stories or everything where I'm sure a lot of people say I love you all the time, but it doesn't mean anything. Every day I love you, I love you, I love you, but they don't necessarily feel love.
Yeah,
Oh,
exactly. Because every family is
yeah,
different. I mean,
yeah,
I'm not gonna, be a hippie and say that you gotta say I love you every
yeah,
day because every family is different.
yeah,
And like we're talking about language of love. I
yeah,
mean, my wife's family, they don't say that. They
yeah,
often like they don't say that quite a
mhm,
lot, but they do so much for us. I mean, they almost gave us a car a while ago, a couple of
yeah,
years ago. They do a lot of things for us, and
yeah,
I'm so grateful for my in-laws. But they don't say I love you.
yeah,
You know what I'm saying. So every family is different. You don't have to do certain things to feel love. You just have to
yeah, and
look
it's
for the ways that are
yeah,
they are saying it.
yeah, and I think that's what with my wife growing up. When I first met her, her relationship with her family, she had a very different perspective. But when we got married and I spent more time with her family, the way they show love is just different from the way that she expects people to show love. But I think that her family loves us a lot. My family also loves us a lot. They're different. Like the way what they
Exactly.
do, it shows it's a big gesture for them. Some people it's a big gesture to say something. Some people it's a big gesture to give them a gift. That's how they show they love their kids or love their
Exactly.
parents. And I think that's what it's important to understand your kids at this age, to try different things to see what they respond to or what they value. Um, because even though they're your kids, their personalities are always going to be they're their own people. So
Exactly. Like
yeah,
the Jordan say on the first episode, they are learning to be a thing right now.
yeah,
They are learning to be humans, like
yeah,
actually learning to be
yeah,
humans. So, and the fun thing is you get to see their fun experimentations and the silly things they do trying to be human. It's like if you was an adult, it's like seeing an alien try to learn human.
yeah, yeah.
So man, God, I really hate to cut you off, to cut this
Oh,
conversation
yeah.
off. I have another meeting
Okay,
of the Bandits Everywhere. The next week's guest, I'm gonna meet up with him in two
okay.
minutes. I'm loving this conversation. Let's do this again.
Yeah, we should.
Let me have you on the second season,
Okay,
and we're gonna definitely have you there. I'm trying to do a big closure of the season on April.
okay,
I'm thinking about making a group thing, like maybe some trivia games or something like that with
okay,
a lot of guests. So I'll let you know so we can make a big finale on the.
okay. That sounds good. Thank you for having me.
My pleasure, man. It was
All right.
so fun. So so I'm gonna go now. I appreciate that, and thank you
Yeah.
everybody for listening this episode. I think it was a very good episode. If you come up to this point, um, please share because there are a lot of things. There are some big things, some important and meaningful things that we talk about on these episodes. On this episode, thank you so much, Jeff, for being here. I really enjoyed our talk, even if it wasn't for a podcast. I really enjoyed
Yeah.
talking to you. So definitely let's do that again some other time. And thank you everybody for tuning in for this episode of the Bandits Everywhere podcast. I'm Matt, your host, and we'll see you on the next episode. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.